Welcome to the African History Network show right here on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation, the Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. Today is Thursday, July 8th, 2021, and we are live. Hope everybody's doing well today. It's been a very, very busy day, very busy news day. If you've been following me on Facebook, you know I've been following the developments going on in Haiti, dealing with the assassination of President Jovenel Moise. We talked about this on the show yesterday, and there are new developments today. There are arrests that have been made. At least 17 suspects have been arrested. We know at least 3 suspects have been killed. 2 of the 17 suspects are U.S. citizens, and 15 of the 17 suspects are Colombians. Okay, so we're going to talk about this some more on today's show, give you an update on what's going on. I've been reading articles from the Miami Herald, as well as looking at the live updates from the New York Times and Washington Post, looking at information from NBC News as well. Okay, so we also have a very special guest on today's show. I'm going to bring him on here in a few minutes. We're going to be joined by Abayomi Azikiwe. Abayomi Azikiwe is the editor of the Pan-African Newswire, and this brother is brilliant. Okay, he speaks in media all over the country, everything from Al Jazeera to all different media outlets. All right, so we're going to bring him on here in just a minute. Now, on the African History Network show, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's corrects wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. So when you control the radius of a man or woman's thoughts, you can control the circumference of his or her actions, because the mind can't do or teach what it doesn't know. Now, in the latter part of the show, I'm going to try to squeeze in the story. Ibram X. Kendi was on the Readout with Joanne Reed back on June 28th, responding to attacks from Senator Josh Hawley, Republican Senator Josh Hawley, and responding to attacks that he's a critical race theorist and all types of nonsense like this. There are a couple of recent articles dealing with critical race theory from CNN we're going to try to squeeze in also, and one deals with how the attack on critical race theory is really dealing with a lot of white guilt, in the fear that a history of white supremacy and racism is going to be exposed when you really teach the history. So we'll try to squeeze that in as well. All right, everybody, share this broadcasting on social media platforms. Invite your friends to tune in also. Okay. All right. Now, we focus on a number of different topics here on the African History Network show. We deal with current events, history, politics, education, economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, relationships, love, sex, health issues, and much, much more. Sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word Kemet, Kemet, to 22828. To sign up for our email newsletter, text the word Kemet, Kemet, to 22828. To sign up for our email newsletter, or visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. All right, we're going to jump right into this here. Now, Abayomi Azikiwe is the editor of the Pan-African Newswire, which is an electronic press agency that was founded in 1998. He has worked for decades in solidarity with the liberation movements and progressive governments on the African continent and the Caribbean. Abayomi Azikiwe is a graduate of Wayne State University, my alma mater. That's why I met Abayomi like 30 years ago in the Student Center building, right? when he's with the Pan-African Student Union. So I joined the Pan-African Student Union after talking to Abayomi. So I've known him going back to like 1992, something like that. He's a graduate of Wayne State University in Detroit. where he earned an undergraduate degree and a graduate degree in political science and public administration and educational and administrative studies. He is the co-founder of several Detroit area organizations, including the Detroit Coalition Against Police Brutality, the Michigan Emergency Committee Against War and Injustice, and the Moratorium Now Coalition to Stop Foreclosures, Evictions, and Utility Shutoffs. Between 2007 and 2011, Abayomi Azikiwe served as the chairperson of the Michigan Coalition for Human Rights for an additional 3 years. He served as president and later vice president of the Michigan Coalition for Human Rights. He is currently a board member at large in the organization. So we want to welcome back to the African History Network show, Abayomi Azikiwe. All right, brother. Hotep, how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing very good. How are you?
Oh, I'm all right, man. Just busy, brother. It's busy and covering all these stories. Yeah, brother. You know, I'm on 6 nights a week, man. So just covering all these stories. But
all right.
Yeah, but you know how that is.
On top of the news.
Exactly. You know how that is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know, I talked about this story a lot on my show yesterday, and I dealt with some of the history of Haiti as well, going back to 1492 when Hispaniola was conquered by Columbus and the Spanish, and then the western portion of the island of Hispaniola it comes under French control. They call it Saint Dominique, and that becomes Haiti. You had the Haitian Revolution in 1791, and they declared their independence in 1804. I dealt with some of the history of Haiti leading up to today, but give us your analysis and give us an update on what's taking place in Haiti right now. And I sent you the article from Miami Herald, and we know that I'm looking at the Miami Herald as well as New York Times. We know 2 South Florida men are some of the suspects arrested. Miami Herald is saying 2 South Florida men have been arrested in connection with the assassination of Haiti President Jovenel Moise, along with 15 Colombian nationals. Haiti police reported Thursday night. So give us an update on what's going on, brother.
Well, in terms of what's been reported in the newspapers and on television networks, the president, as you mentioned earlier, Jovenel Moise, was assassinated by a well-organized group of armed gunmen.
Right.
There's reports coming from the United States ambassador, the Haitian ambassador to the United States, Edmond Bouchy,
right,
who said that they came up in vehicles and perhaps uniforms of the United States Drug Enforcement Agency. That was a really a major statement because we know Haiti has been a long time accused over the last 25 years or more of being a major conduit for drug trafficking in the Caribbean into the United States. That is something that really needs further exploring. Mm-hmm. What's interesting about this as well is that the president, Moise, had predicted not too long ago that there was an attempt to overthrow his government and assassinate him. There's also a dispute over who is actually in charge of the Haitian government at this time. Claude Joseph, who has declared himself as acting prime minister, but there was another individual who was designated to be interim prime minister, along with President Moise, but he was not inaugurated into the position. So the government has declared a state of siege right now in Haiti. Now, what does that really mean? It's been unfolding over the last 2 days. The Canadian trained Haitian police force has pursued the alleged suspects in the assassination of the president, and his first lady was severely wounded
Right.
There were reports yesterday that she had passed away, but it turns out that was not correct, and she's been flown to Miami for medical attention.
Right, on Wednesday.
Yes, what does this mean, a state of siege in Haiti? The Dominican Republic you mentioned earlier, because the island is divided between a former Spanish colony, the Dominican Republic, and of course Haiti.
Right.
Former French colony, but it was also periodically intervened by Spain as well as Britain. We also know the history of the United States in relationship to Haiti. It's a long, sordid history. So all these factors have to be taken into consideration when we try to analyze this. The U.S. historically has been heavily involved in trying to determine the internal affairs, the character of the government, the economy in Haiti. And right now, there are elements in Haiti that are calling for U.S. intervention. We dealt with this way back in the 90s. Remember when we were at the university?
Exactly, at Wayne State, yeah.
The intervention in 1994 to reimpose John Bertrand Aristide.
Right.
It's been overthrown in 1991. So, yeah, but it's a lot of information that's floating around and a lot of different sources. You mentioned some of the sources. There's also France 24, which is a French television station that also broadcasts in English. You can get them over their website as well as on YouTube. Al Jazeera has also been covering the story. They've had some detailed reports. So we have to, try to track this down by all the sources that are available.
Exactly. Now, I know I was reading, it was what actually, let's do this because we're coming up here on a break in 3 minutes. Shakita, I want to go to clip number 1. I want to go to NBC Nightly News here in just a second. They had a report on this. I know dealing with the DEA, I heard Bochit Edmond yesterday. Roland Martin interviewed him on Roland Martin Unfiltered. And everybody, I'll be back on Roland Martin Unfiltered on Friday, July 9th. I'm a panelist every Friday on Roland Martin Unfiltered. But I'm looking at different sources here. And it's saying that it's suspected that now the Haitian government, they're calling these people mercenaries, but it's suspected that the ones who said they were DEA agents, they suspect that was a ruse. That's a cover, and that they aren't really DEA agents. We'll find out. But it's some very interesting things here. But I want to go to this clip here. Let's go to clip number 1. This is from NBC Nightly News. New details and arrest and assassination of President Jovenel Moise.
After more video emerged of assassins outside the private home of Haiti's president, less than 24 hours later came the first arrest. Authorities now say 7 suspects were killed during a gun battle and 6 others are now in custody.
I'm also aware that a larger group of possible perpetrators have taken refuge in 2 buildings in the city and that they are now surrounded by the police.
New footage appears to show heavily armed men moving down the street around the time President Jovenel Moise was assassinated. In separate audio, a voice can be heard identifying the group in English as DEA agents. The Haitian government says they also spoke Spanish and were foreign mercenaries posing as DEA agents. The country's ambassador won't say who may have paid them or whether they had inside help.
We don't want to speculate. There is an investigation going on.
First Lady Martine Moise was critically wounded and is being treated at a Miami hospital. In Haiti, the Prime Minister has declared a state of siege. Today, protesters gathered outside a police station where suspects were being held. And late today, Haiti's Minister of Elections confirms to NBC News that at least 1 U.S. citizen is among those in custody.
Okay. Pause right there. So since that aired at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, we have more updates, and it's at least two of the suspects arrested are said to be South Florida men. We see that that's being reported also by the Miami Herald. The New York Times is reporting 17 suspects have been arrested in total. and there was a discrepancy. The Miami Herald talks about a discrepancy in the report from the Haitian government earlier today, dealing with earlier they said 7 had been I think killed, but let's see here. Haitian officials have not released the names of the other men arrested, but they said there are a total of 15 Colombians under arrest, along with 2 South Florida Haitian Americans. Police said 3 of the assailants, Colombians as well, were killed. Now, earlier, Haiti police had said 7 of the assailants were dead earlier in the day, and that's the reporting from NBC Nightly News. They did not explain the discrepancy, but they said they are still looking for 8 other assailants, all Colombians. Hold the line, Abayomi. We have to take a quick commercial break. You listen to the African History. Okay, no problem. Listen to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation, the Future Radio. I'm Michael Imhotep. We're speaking with Abayomi Azikiwe, editor of the Pan-African Newswire. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Black on Purpose Television Network. Yes, Black on Purpose Television Network. All black, all positive, all the time. The largest black-owned streaming television network in the world. Bringing our people together worldwide. Controlling our messages, our stories, our way. Black TV the way it should be. Black music, Black history, and more. 30 plus channels, thousands of shows. Black on Purpose Television Network. Subscribe now.
Gain knowledge in minutes from insightful summaries of progressive and socially conscious books. Blacklisted gives you access to curated content that'll satisfy your curiosity to learn and understand different perspectives. Empower yourself through inspirational and actionable ideas. It's easy to read or listen to on the go. Blacklisted. Empower yourself. Start your free trial today.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation, the Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Thursday, July 8th, 2021, and we are live. On the line, our guest is Abayomi Azikiwe. He is the editor of the Pan-African Newswire. He does media interviews and all different types of media, including Al Jazeera. The Pan-African Newswire is is an electronic press agency that was founded in 1998. Abayomi has worked for decades in solidarity with the liberation movements and progressive governments on the African continent and the Caribbean. And we are talking about the assassination of Haitian President Jovenel Moise and updates on what's taking place. We know at least there have been at least 17 suspects arrested. At least 2 are described as South Florida men who are of Haitian descent. As well. We want to bring him back on here. Okay. So, Abayomi, I want to go to, well, first of all, you want to come right before the break. I shared the clip from the reporting from earlier today from NBC Nightly News. Any comments on that? Then I want to go to this latest reporting from the New York Times. But go ahead and you can comment because we had to go to break.
Yeah, you mentioned that there's still a lot of confusion about the number of people arrested, the number of people killed. So all that's going to have to be sorted out. But the Haitian National Police Chief, Leon Charles, did say that 7 of these alleged suspects, were killed, in various police actions in the country. That was attributed to him by Radio Metropole, which is a Haitian radio network. So, we'll just have to continue to monitor what's going on because you have a lot of speculation that's taking place both inside Haiti as well as among the Haitian diaspora, people living outside the country. There are like 300,000 Haitians living in South Florida. Mm-hmm. So there's a huge Haitian community here in the United States.
Yeah, I was looking at the reporting from the Washington Post earlier today. I read New York Times and Washington Post every day. And the Washington Post was reporting at least 3 suspects killed, 17 suspects detained, including 2 U.S. citizens, 8 suspects on the run. So that's something that's important there. The Miami Herald, as well as Washington Post, and I think also, and also the New York Times are reporting 8 suspects are still on the run, authorities said. So, what I want to do, I want to, go to the, reporting here from, I want to look at the, latest reporting here from the New York Times. Just a second. Let me pull this up here and, share with everybody what's going on, and then you can comment on it, as well. Let me pull this up here. Okay. Because I printed up the article and I was looking at it. So the New York Times has a piece here. 2 U.S. citizens are among at least 17 suspects arrested in Moise killing. And I'm going to put this up on the screen share also, so those watching on Facebook and YouTube can see. All right. Let's see here. Okay, so at least 17 people, including 15 Colombians and 2 American citizens, were detained in the assassination of President Jovenel Moise, Haitian officials said late Thursday night, as they paraded the suspects before the news media and asserted that, quote unquote, foreigners had been involved in the brazen attack. Now, if you look at the reporting from the Miami Herald, and Miami Herald has a piece that I already showed here on the screen. They have an article, 2 South Florida men, 26 Colombians involved in Moise assassination, Haiti police say. And if you just go to MiamiHerald.com and search for Jovenel Moise, this article will come up. But they have a video here where they show these men detained. Okay, they show these men detained, and they show a cache of weapons on the table as well. Now, at a news conference at National Police Headquarters, let me see here. Let's go to. Let me turn on the screenshot just a second here. Okay, I think it's this one here. Okay, at a news conference at National Police Headquarters with interim Prime Minister, the interim Prime Minister, the American men were described as being of Haitian descent and were identified as Joseph Vincent and James Solages, Solages. Okay, so all right. Let me get I want to get the right article here up on the, okay, I think this is the right one. Okay, so Haitian security officials had earlier described Mr. Solages as a resident of South Florida who had been apprehended on Wednesday during the manhunt for the assailants. A Canadian government official said that Mr. Solages was briefly employed as a reserve bodyguard by a security company hired by the Foreign Affairs Ministry in 2010. At least 8 more suspects were on the run, authorities said. Leon Charles, Haiti's police chief, as you referenced, Abayomi, Leon Charles said, quote, we are pursuing them. We are asking the public to help us. Now, we know early in the day, the public captured, basically apprehended at least 2 suspects and turned them over to the police. Yeah. Okay. Now, Colombia's defense minister, Diego Molano, said the government was cooperating with an official request from Interpol, the global police agency, for information about the detained suspects. He added that initial information suggested that they were retired members of the Colombian military. Okay. Diego Molano, Colombia's defense minister, said that the initial information suggested that these Colombians who were apprehended were retired members of the Colombia military. Now, the detainees were lined up at the news conference Thursday, July 8th, Thursday night, in handcuffs, some showing signs of physical injuries. A table displayed at least 10 Colombian passports, along with automatic weapons, sledgehammers, and saws, SAWS. So your thoughts, Abayomi?
Well, Colombia, you know, if we know the history of the relationship with the United States, it's been extremely repressive. Colombia was the third largest recipient of the United States foreign assistance. Of course, the state of Israel being number one. Egypt, which is in North Africa and has been largely controlled politically and economically by the U.S. for more than 40 years. And then Colombia. There's a very repressive military and security apparatus in Colombia because the United States has tried to prevent at least one revolutionary organization from taking power. There are two that have been operating there for many decades. So that indicates that this operation could have very well been deliberate and a coup d'etat against the existing leadership of President Moise. Also, if you look at the role of Colombia in destabilizing neighboring Venezuela, there was an attempted coup over 2 years ago in Venezuela, and a lot of the defectors from Venezuela, as well as mercenaries, were based in Colombia. So the more information we receive about this, it looks like it could very well have been a coup against the existing administration.
Right.
And what the outcome of this is going to be is still not clear, because you have Claude Joseph, who is claiming to be the acting prime minister.
Mm-hmm.
Yet at the same time, it's not clear exactly how much support he has in the country and whether or not he can enforce this state of siege, because people there are very, very upset with the existing state of affairs over the last few years. There's been at least two major general strikes and rebellions on the part of the Haitian people against the Jovenel government,
right,
which was heavily backed by the United States, just like the Michel Martelly government before that was heavily backed by the United States. So, you know, people need to look also at the role of the government here,
right,
in everything that's going on in Haiti.
Right. So, you know, I talked about this some yesterday. So there was, you have those in Haiti who are saying that Jovenel Moise should have stepped down from power back in February of this year, and he's staying in power past his term or something like that. Talk about that for a minute. That reminds me of Donald Trump, by the way, but talk about that for a minute. Yeah.
You know, he, like I said, there's been two major outbreaks of violence. In 2019, there was a large uprising inside the country. Mm-hmm. There's been general strikes among, different trade union groups, community organizations inside the country. And there's also a lot of factionalism within the Haitian parliament, as well as the various political parties.
Okay, I'm getting some feedback. Hold on, what is it?
So therefore, what's important to understand is that with all this internal turmoil inside the country, it was very difficult to have any type of smooth transition of power. So it's been delayed, and I think the United States supported the delay of the handover of power. Now they claim
you said the United States was supportive of what now? The United States was supportive of what?
Of the continuation of the Jovenel Moise staying in office. At least that was their public posture.
Okay.
Up until recently. Now they're saying that they want the election to take place later this year, but it's not clear if the country is in a position to hold multi-party elections, considering that the president was assassinated and there are a lot of other problems going on inside of Haiti itself. But as I said earlier, there are interests. There's been some call from the Dominican Republic ambassador to the United Nations saying there needs to be some type of international intervention in Haiti because of the instability, and even the ambassadors, at least the one from Canada, who I mentioned earlier, there was an interview with him on one of the leading television networks, France 24.
Okay.
His name is Robert Artus. Was calling for, the assistance of the Canadian government. And he also pointed out that which I mentioned earlier, the Haitian National Police has been trained and supplied with weapons by the Canadian government.
By which government? By which government?
OAS. The Canadian government.
Canadian
and
government.
Also the Organization of American States.
Okay.
The OAS.
Okay.
Which is based in South America, but it's really a U.S. construct. It was designed many years ago to fight against the influence of Cuba.
Right.
In Latin America. They supposedly have passed a resolution calling for some type of international investigation into the assassination, saying that Haiti needs help. We have to look at some of the results of some of the previous interventions by the United States. The overthrow of Jean-Bertrand Aristide in 91, then they reimposed him militarily in 94.
Right.
He stayed in office for nearly a decade. And then in 2004, the bicentennial of Haitian independence, which was in 1804,
1804, right.
France and Canada invaded Haiti and occupied the country for a while. They overthrew Jean-Bertrand Aristide and exiled him to the Central African Republic. This was all done by the United States, France, and Canada. And then they installed the United Nations so-called peacekeeping force in Haiti for many years. There were huge problems with the UN forces there. There was a cholera outbreak, if people recall. And also, there was a lot of resistance to the UN. And there were several clashes and massacres of Haitians by the United Nations peacekeeping forces, which have largely been removed from Haiti right now. So we have to guard against U.S. intervention. The U.S. occupied the country for 19 years, between 1915 and 1934.
Right.
Ostensibly prompted by an assassination, a political assassination in Haiti during World War I. So, the interventions have not helped as far as we can see. So let me. They went in again in 2010. Remember when there was an earthquake?
Yeah, the earthquake in 2010.
And, they were supposed to raise hundreds of millions of dollars to help Haiti.
Right.
Bill Clinton was involved in that project. And we all know the homes were never built. I think they built 6 homes. It was never clear what happened to the money.
Right.
That was raised from all over the world.
Right. Let me do this quickly here. I want to go to this article here. I talked about this yesterday on this show. So everybody, this is an article from NBC News. Haitian President Jovenel Moise assassinated. First Lady injured in attack. Interim Prime Minister says. This is from July 7th, 2021. But I want to go to the last 2 paragraphs here. This is what I was just talking about a couple of minutes ago. Abayomi. It says the Caribbean country of around 11 million is one of the poorest in the Americas. Now, I also talked about yesterday how they had to pay back, I think it was like $21 billion to France, in reparations for defeating France in the injury. They were forced to pay that. And this is one of the reasons why they're so poor. But, Haiti has been gripped by violence and gridlocked in the last few months. Protests against the president, Moise, turned violent in February of 2021. Opposition leaders demanded that Moise step down, arguing that his term legally ended in February of 2021. Moise and his supporters maintained his term began when he took office in early 2017, following a chaotic election that forced the appointment of a provisional president to serve during a year-long gap. Now, it did, just so we understand this here, did Moise stay in office past his term ending, or what's going on there?
Well, it depends on how you interpret it. As you mentioned, some say because there was a delay of him taking office, because there were allegations of massive voter fraud in the elections that brought him to power.
So there were allegations of voter fraud.
As a result of that,
there were allegations of voter fraud in the election. Okay.
On the part of their party.
Okay.
Which I mentioned. The party is the Tech Kali party, and was founded by Michel Montelet, who had been in power prior to Jovenel Moise. So there was claims by the opposition of massive voter fraud, and it delayed his installation as president. So his supporters would say, no, he has not stayed past his time in office, but then his detractors would say just the opposite. Now, as I mentioned, the U.S. claims they want them to hold elections, I believe, in September. But we'll see if the United States sticks to that position.
Okay. So let me ask you this question. Now, we know that back in 1915, that's the beginning of, at the start of World War I, 1914 and 1918, we know that, I think it was about 300 Marines or something like that occupied Haiti. And, we see that, in 2004, it was, U.S., France, and, the, U.S., France, and Canada involved in overthrowing Aristide. So talk about the relationship between Haiti and the U.S. Why is the U.S. interested in Haiti? What's in it for now? The other thing is that Jovenel Moise is basically, from my understanding, he was basically put in power by the U.S., or they helped put him in power. Is that correct?
Yeah. He has a background as a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
He's involved in auto parts.
Auto parts.
Retail sector.
Right.
He's doing agricultural development of agricultural products. So he's fairly well off as a businessman. So these are the type of people they usually want to support in countries where they have interests. You ask what's at stake. Right. Well, that goes back, many, many centuries. Because of the Haitian Revolution, the U.S. feared, during the period of enslavement here in this country, they feared that there would be a successful slave rebellion in the United States. And some of the rebellions, particularly the one in Louisiana in 1811, which is been hidden for many, many years, information is starting to come out about that rebellion. It's one of the largest rebellions against enslavement in the history of the United States. Was led and it was sparked, by people who knew about the Haitian Revolution. Some of the leaders may have been from Haiti, had spent time in Haiti. They were originally, their ancestors went back to West Africa, or the area today known as Ghana. The two people who led that rebellion, their objective was to march on New Orleans. They were taking over several slave plantations. And, people can read about that.
That's the German Coast Uprising? That's the German Coast Uprising, right? Yes,
right.
Yes,
right. That, and then, of course, they never recognized Haiti. From 1804, when they declared themselves an independent Black Republic, they weren't recognized until the U.S. Civil War in 1862. So there was, in effect, a blockade on the country. Not only by France, but by the United States. The U.S. did not want them to succeed. Even it wasn't until the Civil War where they were trying to, when they started inducting our people into the Union Army, that they appointed Frederick Douglass as
the Union Army. Okay, during the Civil War. You're talking about during the U.S. Civil War, 1861, 1865. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Right. That's when they recognized Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
So it was 58 years, and the U.S. failed to recognize them because they feared, a black revolution in the United States against enslavement. So, that's what they say. They also want Haiti as a large source of cheap labor as well. You've had, light industrial production there in the past, baseball factories and other type of light industry. And, they heavily exploit the labor of the people there, just like they do in the United States.
Right. And the other thing is important. So a couple of things. One, you're right. There was a fear when the Haitian Revolution is taking place and Haiti gains its independence in 1804. They declared independence in 1804. There was a fear in this country that rebellions that the Haitian Revolution would spark rebellions here. Okay. Even though rebellions were already taking place, there was a fear of that. The other thing is Nat Turner's mother, it's believed she came from Haiti. Nat Turner's, So Nat Turner's mother, her slave owner fled Haiti in the 1790s with his slaves and came to the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then also the Louisiana Purchase of 1803. The reason why this took place is because the Haitians were beating the hell out of the French. And Napoleon and the French, they sell the land that they had here to raise money to keep fighting the Haitians. Okay. So the U.S. gets about 828,000 square miles of land, and they're going to for $15 million, and they're going to carve out about 15 states out of that. The Louisiana Purchase, signed by Thomas Jefferson in 1803, doubled the territory of the United States at that time. So it's a deep history, and we get to see how all this is connected. The Haitian Revolution, Columbus in 1492, and the Spanish conquering Hispaniola, the French taking the western portion of the island of Hispaniola, carving out Saint Dominique, and that becomes Haiti, and then we see U.S. involvement, all of this together. So when we look at what you said that the U.S. and Joe Biden has been criticized for supporting Jovenel Moise. So what do you think should happen in Haiti now? What do you think should be the course? Do you think Jovenel Moise should have stayed in office? Do you think he should have stepped down? Do you think somebody else should be president of Haiti right now? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, ideally, the various political parties inside the country should come together and form an interim government. The problem is that you have different political interests inside the country, and one of the largest parties there, the Famille Lavalas, which was the party of Bertrand Aristide, has essentially been banned inside the country. So while their leaders have been assassinated or driven into exile, so that is left a major political vacuum inside of Haiti itself. But there has to be some type of united front among the various organizations. One, to bring about political stability, but also in an attempt to stave off yet another U.S. military intervention. And another thing that could motivate the United States to intervene is the potential for mass migration of Haitians into South Florida. Right. Now, as I mentioned earlier, 300,000 Haitians there. And in order to maintain or to keep down the black population in the United States, they do not want, massive numbers of Haitians coming into the United States, just like they don't want people coming in from Mexico and Central America on the other end of the border. And a lot of those people are people of African descent as well, from the African continent, from South America, who are also entering the United States. Now, we don't hear about that. That's concealed because they want to racialize the conflict to make it look like they're just against brown people, people from Mexico, Honduras, Guatemala, and so forth. But, this is a very complex situation in terms of immigration, really migration, because a lot of the people that come for economic reasons, political reasons as well, but also economic reasons. So,
right.
It's people migrating, to find what they can think to be a better life. Now, when they get here to find out something totally different,
right.
That's concerned with ICE, the police, the racism in the United States, and COVID-19 pandemic, and all of that that's been happening here over the last year and a half.
Right, exactly. All right, we're almost out of time here on 910 AM Superstation WFDF, but just very quickly, that was the German Coast Uprising in 1811 in Louisiana that you were referring to. I have an article up here from NOLA.com, New Orleans publication, the 1811 Louisiana slave revolt that was almost lost to history. And then there's also a article here from SmithsonianMag.com, Smithsonian Institute. This one here is how a nearly successful slave revolt was intentionally lost to history. How a nearly successful slave revolt was intentionally lost to history. More than 500 slaves fought for their freedom in this oft overlooked rebellion. Okay. And this is in Louisiana. It was January of 1811. And the Zen Education Project has information about this also, but it's also referred to as the German Coast Uprising. Okay. Let people know how they can read the Pan-African Newswire, Abayomi, how they can get in contact with you, and how they can support you all as well.
Yeah, just go to our website. It's at panafricannews.blogspot.com. That's panafricannews.blogspot.com. And also, I'm on Facebook under my name, Abayomi Azikiwe. There's a personal Facebook page, and there's a Pan-African Newswire Facebook page as well. I'm also on Instagram and Twitter as well. So you can follow me on all those platforms. Then I have a blog talk radio program, the Pan-African Journal, worldwide radio broadcast that usually broadcast twice a week, and the podcasts are available under the Pan-African Radio Network. So all
Pan-African Radio Network.
Follow what we're doing, yes.
Okay, and we have the website up here, panafricannews.blogspot.com, panafricannews.blogspot.com. People can read the Pan-African Newswire there. All right, brother. Well, look, man, it's always good to have you on. I know it's been a few years. We're going to have you back very soon. So thanks for coming on tonight. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Well, thank you, and good luck with all your African history endeavors.
Okay, you too, brother. Thanks, man.
All right,
Abayomi. All right, peace.
Bye.
Thanks, peace.
All right,
everybody. That's Abayomi Azikiwe, editor of the Pan-African Newswire. This is what we're going to do. If you like this type of information, you can support the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, also through PayPal, paypal.me /the AHN Show, paypal.me /the AHN Show. And, this is our official Cash App account, $ the AHN Show, SHOW. And it shows my name, Michael, and shows my picture there. These other ones are fake, African History Network Cash App accounts that somebody set up. I've already reported them to, Cash App, but we're here 6 days a week. This helps us to keep doing the research, stay on the air, keep broadcasting. Also register for the online course that I teach. If you like this type of information, I teach a 10-week online course on Sundays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Those watching on Facebook and YouTube, keep watching. We're going to keep broadcasting for a few more minutes. Right now, it's Correct Wrong Behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Peace. All right, stand by, everybody. Stand by. Stand by. We're going to be here for a few more minutes. So the new online course that I teach it started up Sunday, July 4th. So Sunday, July 11th is class number 2. Okay. All the sessions are recorded. You can go back and watch them over and over again. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa. Understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Okay. We deal with thousands of years of history, and we deal with what led up to the transatlantic slave trade, taking place. All right. And, we deal with ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt, ancient Africa, Nubia, Ta-Nehisi, Ethiopia. We deal with the Khoisan, the short statured people, the Twa, etc. And we do with the 800-year occupation of Europe by the Africans known as the Moors. And we do what led up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. And we take you through the transatlantic slave trade from 1441 up until the late 1800s. So at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, when you scroll down the page, you'll see the information for the 10-week online course. Next class is Sunday, July 11th. Click right here to register here. It takes you to the next page. And click on enroll. As soon as you register, you can start watching the content. All right. We do the classes live. All of the sessions are recorded. Okay. And, you can watch, you will also, get the content from the Saturday class that's wrapping up. We only have 1 or 2 more sessions of the Saturday class. You get the content from the Saturday class that is that's wrapping up, and you can watch classes 1 through 9 of the Saturday class, and you'll be enrolled in the class that meets on Sundays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. So as soon as you register, you can also watch class number 1 that we did Sunday, July 4th, and you'll be ready for the class coming up this Sunday. Okay. 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do a PowerPoint presentation. We have book references, articles, video clips. We do with thousands of years of history and what led up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. So we have guest speakers. So Dr. David Imhotep, author of The First Americans Were Africans, Documented Evidence, spoke to my class on Saturday, June 12th, 2021. So when you register, you'll be able to watch that course content from the Saturday class as well. You'll be able to watch that class. And we just posted the link here also. Okay. Now, somebody said they tried to enroll and could not. I just posted the link here. Now, if you ran into any problems, email me at TheAHNShow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. TheAHNShow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com if you had any problems registering, and we'll get you taken care of. Okay. So the class is regularly $130, is on sale $80 right now. And you probably haven't seen anything like this before. We deal with so much history. We take you through a timeline of history also, and really understand cause and effect as well. Understand cause and effect. Dr. David Imhotep wrote this book here, The First Americans Were Africans, Documented Evidence. And his book deals with 713 footnotes, but it deals with overwhelming evidence of an African presence in the Americas, dating back at least 56,000 years ago in South America, and at least 51,700 years ago here in the land we call the United States of America. And these were the Khoisan, who have the oldest DNA on the planet, come from Southern Africa. They're the ancestors to the Ainu and the Twa. They go all around the world, and they were here as well. And this is long before Native Americans come into existence. This is long before the transatlantic slave trade starts. This is long before Europeans are even on the planet and before European explorers come to this land here. So if you like the type of information that I share each night here on the African History Network show, this online course is going to blow you away. All right. Let's see here. All right. So, yeah, if you have any problems registering, email me at TheAHNShow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Okay, very quickly here, I want to go back to the article. The information deal with critical race theory. We'll deal with that on Friday's show because I have to get out of here shortly. But to go back to I want to go back to the piece here from the New York Times. And let me refresh the screen, see if there are any updates. And I'm going to do a refresh on also Miami Herald, because Miami Herald was updating their article throughout the day. So I want to look at this as well. Okay. But just very quickly here. Let's go back to this one here from New York Times. All right. This one here from the New York Times. 2 U.S. citizens are among at least 17 suspects arrested in Moise killing. And let's go back to this one here. Okay. The detainee, let's see. The detainees were lined up at a news conference Thursday night in handcuffs, showing signs of some physical injuries. The country's interim prime minister, Claude Joseph, said a group of foreigners had entered the country to kill the president in a cowardly fashion. He said, quote, "They forgot something." He said, "You may kill the president, but you may not kill his dreams. You may kill the president, but you may not kill his dreams. You cannot kill his ideology, and you cannot kill what he was fighting for." Now, that's why I'm determined for President Jovenel Moise's family, friends, and allies, and the Haitian population to get justice. Now, angry civilians have also joined in the hunt, capturing some suspects themselves and setting afire vehicles thought to have been used in the attack. Haiti is now basically under martial law after interim Prime Minister Claude Joseph declared a state of siege, That allows the police and members of security forces to enter homes, control traffic, and take special security measures. It also forbids meetings meant to excite or prepare for disorder. So basically, you have martial law going on right now in Haiti. There was another piece from Washington Post I was looking at before we came on the air here, dealing with two epidemics in Haiti, usher in critical phase following assassination. So another piece. We'll probably talk some about that tomorrow. I'll go to that one in just a second. Now, the rapidly evolving crisis deepened the turmoil and violence that has gripped Haiti for months, threatening to tip one of the world's most troubled nations further into lawlessness. Questions swirled about who might have been behind the brazen attack and how they eluded the president's security detail to carry it out. See, this is something else, another question, because based on so this is going to take a thorough investigation, but it appears on the surface there's some type of Colombian link to this as well. Okay. I'm not saying it's from the Colombian government, but it appears you have reports coming out of Haiti that 15 of the 17 detainees are Colombians. And Claude Joseph said that it was reporting from Miami Herald. Police said 3 of the assailants, Colombians as well, were killed earlier. Claude Joseph talked about them being part of former member. No, it was the Colombian who said this, Diego, that they were former members of the Colombian military. That was the piece from Miami Herald. And I'm going to try to find that exact quote here. The rapidly evolving crisis deepened the turmoil and violence that has gripped Haiti for months, threatening to tip one of the world's most troubled nations further into lawlessness. Defense Minister Diego Milano, that's who it was. Defense Minister Diego Milano. That was the piece from the Washington Post. The mysterious plot against Moise was reaching beyond Haiti's borders. Colombian authorities confirmed late Thursday that at least some of the suspects were former members of the Colombian army, saying they had launched an investigation into their alleged involvement. Okay, that's the reporting from the Washington Post. Now, there were reports of fighting between suspects and security forces throughout the day. Earlier Thursday, Helene Lalima, the top UN official in Haiti, told reporters that a group of suspects had, quote, taken refuge in 2 buildings in the city and are now surrounded by police. She spoke via teleconference from Port-au-Prince, the capital of Haiti, after briefing the United Nations Security Council on the Haitian crisis in a private meeting. It was unclear if the situation had been resolved. Haiti's ambassador to the United States, Bochit Edmond, has described the assailants as, quote, well-trained professionals, killers, commandos. All right, check out the rest of this article here from the New York Times. 2 U.S. citizens are among at least 17 suspects arrested in the Moise killing. All right, that's going to do it for us. I'll be on Roland Martin Unfiltered on Friday, July 9th. So check me out there, Roland Martin Unfiltered on Roland Martin on Facebook and YouTube. Show airs live 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, around 6 p.m. You can support the African History Network, $, the AHN Show through Cash App, $, the AHN Show through Cash App, also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show, paypal.me/the AHN Show. or through our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. That helps us keep doing the research, stay on the air, keep broadcasting 6 days a week, finance the show, pay some of the bills, etc. And be sure to register for my new online course. Class number 2 is going to be Sunday, July 11th, of Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. When we deal with the transatlantic slave trade, we can't start in 1619 in Virginia. We can't start in 1441 with the Portuguese going into Mauritania. We have to deal with tens of thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. We deal with Ghana, Songhai, Mali. We deal with ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt, Nubia, Abyssinia, Ethiopia. We deal with great African civilizations. We look at a number of different archaeological discoveries also, that recent archaeological discoveries that have taken place recently as well, that are causing the scientists to have to push the timelines back and rethink everything as well, because all of this is much older than what we have been taught originally. Okay. There was just a discovery of the lost city of Egypt that dates back about 3,000 years ago, that just in the last few months, that discovery came out. So you'll see these different types of archaeological discoveries that are coming out every other week, basically. Every other week, we have these new archaeological discoveries that are taking place. All right, so you can register for the online course at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Also, all of my DVD lectures are available at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, and digital downloads as well. But at our website, when you scroll down, you'll see information for the radio show. You can click here to listen to audio podcasts of my shows. I just uploaded podcasts today. Click here to read articles I've written. And then we have the information for the online course here, and you'll see the flyer. It's a 10-week online course, meets 10 consecutive Sundays. This next class is Sunday, July 2nd. Sunday, July 11th, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Click here for register here. And then next page, click on enroll. Class is regularly $130, on sale $80. As soon as you register, you can start watching the content. All right, we have to get out of here. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world. Because right now it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. And we will talk to you tomorrow. Okay. Follow us on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network. My YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP. Turn on live notifications so you know when we go live. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace.
Black on Purpose Television Network. Yes, Black on Purpose Television Network. All black, all positive, all the time. The largest black-owned streaming television network in the world. Bringing our people together worldwide. Controlling our messages, our story, our way. Black TV the way it should be. Black music, Black history, and more. 30+ channels, thousands of shows. Black on Purpose Television Network. Subscribe now.
Gain knowledge in minutes from insightful summaries of progressive and socially conscious books. Blacklisted gives you access to curated content that'll satisfy your curiosity to learn and understand different perspectives. Empower yourself through inspirational and actionable ideas. It's easy to read or listen to on the go. Blacklisted. Empower yourself. Start your free trial today.
Hi, I'm Joel Wilson, President and CEO of JCW Computer Consulting, LLC, a technology implementation firm with over 20 years of satisfying customers. We offer a full spectrum of industry top-tier branded services. We are an authorized partner or reseller for Lenovo, Zoom, T-Mobile, Microsoft 365, and Surface tablets. Google Workspace, Acer, Asus, Samsung, PCmatic security software, and many more. Our online store features laptops, Chromebooks, computers, printers, accessories, and software. Businesses, take advantage of our free 1-hour Zoom tech consultation and know we offer top nationwide high-speed internet service providers, voice over IP, and cellular phone services. Home users, don't miss our current in-stock Chromebook inventory. Please visit us at jcwcc.com or call 215-879-8255.